It's Wednesday, April 24th, 2024. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification down below so that you are alerted when the newest videos drop. A few things that I printed out today that I want to share with all of you. Feel free to comment down below. Markets today across the board flat, but there's some things that we should talk about. Yesterday we talked about Tesla laying off 2,700 people in Austin, Texas. Later, they released some news that they're going to lay off 3,300 in California. Their stock was up over 12% today. I guess on the news that they're going to lower EV car prices. But the real reason, let's face it, the real reason that their stock price is up is because of the restructuring. They laid off 2,700 in Austin, laying off 3,300 in California. This restructuring is the real reason why the stock price is up. Looking at some of the other news in the last day or two, Old Dominion Trucking, their stock today down 11%. This is a bellwether. This is a company that does less than a truckload of freight. So, for companies that don't have a full truckload, a full trailer load, maybe it's a half a load, quarter load. You call a company like Old Dominion. They're down today 11%. UPS year to date down 7.4%. So this is telling us that these freight companies, shipping companies, are shipping less. And so we're seeing a slowdown. People are buying less. They're paying more, but they're buying less. And so I think when you look at UPS and you look at Old Dominion, two big freight companies, this is telling all of us that things are slowing down. This on CNBC today, why the Fed is keeping rates higher for longer may not be such a bad idea. Before it was a horrible idea. Now they're reversing it and telling us that, hey, maybe it's not a bad idea at all. Stock market now will look at it as good news that if the Fed, this is the games and the manipulation that is being played, that if we don't get the rate cuts, this is going to be horrible for the stock market. The stock market has been ignoring all of this. We've not gotten a rate cut yet, and now they're saying maybe September, and the stock market, the hopium, just keeps thriving. So what if it looks like it doesn't happen at all? And I think it may not. We're going to get the GDP number tomorrow. We're going to get some other numbers this week. But as of right now, it does not look to me very likely that we're going to be getting rate cuts this year. So are they just going to twist this whole thing now that the market ignores all this and says, hey, maybe this is really good news that we're not getting a rate cut. Maybe this is great news. It's just absolutely weird what's going on. No fundamentals in these markets whatsoever. Everything's based on hope, based on fairy dust, and just whatever they can make up from day to day. So 1 minute we've got to have rate cuts. The next minute maybe no rate cuts is good for the markets. I can't figure this out. But one thing I will say is that higher rates for longer is going to put a lot of pressure on smaller businesses. It's going to put more pressure on smaller and regional banks. It's going to put more pressure on the commercial real estate market. People who have credit card debt, people who are trying to buy houses, who are trying to buy cars. This is going to put a lot of pressure on anybody that needs to borrow money, because the cost to borrow money isn't going down. It's either going to stay where it is right now, or it's going to continue to go higher. So not going to be good for the average household, but honestly, I believe they should be raising rates. I think really one of the best things that could happen, my opinion only, let me know your thoughts. I think one of the best things that could happen is these markets collapse. The auto market, bond market, commercial real estate, housing market, auto market, everything. All these markets need to crash. Why? Because they're completely overvalued. We need to get back to fair price. We need to get back and know what the real price of these assets really are. Everything's been overvalued with these injections of trillions and trillions of dollars and low rates for so long that it is overvalued all these assets, all these markets. And to me, the best thing to do is collapse them all and see what the real prices of these assets are. Yes, it will do a lot of destruction. It will be very, very painful, but what will be even more painful is if we just keep allowing inflation to run out of control, print more money, and keep doing what we're doing. This is going to cause even bigger problems. And this is why we're here today. Low rates and a lot of money printing has caused these massive bubbles that now people can't afford to buy cars. They can't afford a credit card because the rate is 23%. They can't afford to buy a house. They can't afford to do anything pretty much now except just merely survive day to day. So if things don't crash here very, very soon, it's just going to get more and more difficult day to day for the average person to survive, my opinion. Mortgage demand falls again as interest rates soar past 7%. Mortgage applications slid 2.7% for the week, and they are down 15% from a year ago. Anybody telling you that this is a great time to buy a house is flat out lying to you. This is a terrible time to buy a house. Why? Because home prices are completely overpriced. I don't have an issue with the mortgage rates today. I think that they're pretty much average at 7.25%, 7.5%. That's probably where they should be. Problem is, when you have houses that have literally doubled or tripled in the last 4 years in price based on nothing, that's the problem. So we either are going to see, in order to unlock this frozen real estate market, we're either going to see rates go down to 2 or 3%, which is not going to happen, or we're going to see prices of homes come down, which we're going to see happen. Vast majority of aspiring homeowners say they cannot afford the American dream. Fox Business, 78% of would-be homebuyers cited financial factors when asked what was holding them back. Bank rate today has the 30-year fixed mortgage rate at 7.29%. That's with, excellent credit, 20% down. The real estate market at this point is literally frozen. Yes, there's a few things selling, but overall, sales across the country have absolutely collapsed. And if you're in the mortgage business, if you're in the real estate business, if you sell homes, you understand what is going on. Now, you may tell people everything's hunky-dory and doing great, but you understand you're making a lot less money than you were a year or 2 years ago. You may not be making any money at all. There are people in the business right now who have not even sold a house this year and may not. Wolfstreet.com, prices of new houses versus existing houses, why new houses held up as existing house sales plunged. If you get a chance, check out the article, wolfstreet.com. Median new home price is down 1.9% from a year ago, and it's down 18.2%. This is the new median price of a home, down 18.2% from the peak of October 2022. That is substantial. Prices, now these prices that we're getting in new home sales, this does not include the mortgage buydowns, does not include the incentives. But we do know that they are down 18.2%, prices down 18.2% from the peak of October 2022. And that 18.2% does not include incentives or mortgage buydowns. So that means that new home prices are down way more than 18.2%. Existing home sellers, it says here, are clinging to the dream that the Fed is going to cut and slash interest rates and that we're going to see mortgage rates drop back to 3%. Let me please be very, very clear with anybody selling a house today. That is not going to happen. And in fact, I don't think it's ever going to happen again in our lifetime. But if you're a home seller, an existing home seller, and you're hanging on, waiting for mortgage rates to drop to 3%, I have a bridge to sell you. You're going to be in for a very, very long listing. New York developer loses one-year-old DC multifamily complex. This was 110 units. Ranger Properties spent years of sweat equity preparing a 110-unit multifamily development in Washington, D.C. Union Market neighborhood. But it barely took a year for distress to come for the New York-based developer. They had a $39.5 million construction debt. The non-performing loan was purchased in January. So another one bites the dust. It is really hard to watch the television, to watch the news, and have these people in their $3,000 suits, the analysts, the people with these big degrees, the economists, and telling us daily that everything is doing great. I mean, they never talk about what's happening in commercial real estate. They're not talking even about what's happening to existing home sales, which is absolutely nothing. Things are just sitting on the market day after day after day. How many realtors now are working 2 side hustles just to survive? How many people who worked in the mortgage industry don't have a job at this point? You know, some of these homes that I look at, I mean, they are getting so stale. They've been on the market for so long, but you don't hear about this in the news. They just tell you should go buy a house today. You should go buy a new car. This, to me, would be the worst possible time to do either one of those things. And then on top of that, this comes out in the news today. We get the president's 2025 budget proposal. 44.6% capital gains tax rate, highest capital gains tax since its creation in 1922. So, I mean, think about an increase in capital gains tax, a 44.6% capital gains tax rate. Okay, that is insane. It's going to affect your house, stocks, mutual funds, ETFs, your business. It's going to affect when you die and this death tax that they're talking about. California will face a combined federal and state tax of 59%. The new budget calls for a $5 trillion increase in taxes. So they keep spending more, sending more to all these countries. And, you know, people watch the news and they go, oh, yeah, you know, the $95 billion that they're sending over to these countries, who cares? No big deal. You should care because you're paying for it. They want to tax you an additional $5 trillion to pay for all their excessive spending, to pay for these wars, to pay for other countries, to pay for people coming here. They're going to want to charge you an additional, on top of the taxes you're already paying, which is absolutely, in my mind, out of control, an additional $5 trillion according to this new budget, this new 2025 budget proposal. Do you think you pay enough taxes right now? Do you think you should pay more? Do you think you're not paying enough? I think everybody's paying way too much, and they want more because they are not going to stop spending. You're going to have to stop spending because you're going to have to pay for all this. Your lifestyle is going to have to go down. You may not be middle class next year or the year after because they need you to pay more to support all of this, to support this out of control spending that they cannot rein in. There's no accountability, no responsibility. It's completely reckless, but they want you to pay for it. You don't even get to say where your tax money goes. They tell you. So people, I mean, I'm speechless reading some of this stuff, and even more speechless that people really don't even care. But they're going to care at some point because they're going to continue to be a debt slave. And they'll wake up one day and go, why am I working at 72? Why don't I have any money? Why can't I buy a house? Why do I have all this debt? Why am I homeless? Why can't I send my kids to college? Why am I losing my house and everything that I've worked for, my retirement? Where did it go? Why did I work so hard? Because I guess people just didn't want to care, didn't want to take the time. They said it was too negative, too doom and gloom. So don't worry about it. Out of sight, out of mind. You know, just believe in the hope. You know, if people don't care about this stuff, they're going to continue to be annihilated, and you're going to continue to not have anything. You will not have anything to leave your kids. Your kids will be debt slaves. People better wake up and realize what is going on. This wealth transfer is alive and well. They're taking whatever is left, whatever you have, they're going to tax, they're going to hit you with more inflation, more fines, you name it. You know, you're going to need more licenses, more permits. That's the reality of everything. They're trying to squeeze every little drop of blood out of the turnip right now. Daily Mail, Walmart removes self-checkouts and swaps back to traditional lanes. But it's not because they care about customer service. No, they care about theft. Now, this is only, I believe, at 2 stores, but more retailers are ditching it. No, it is not. It is not about customer service. It is about the bottom line. There is too much theft going on with self-checkout. But I think self-checkout is horrible. I think it just really rips off the consumer. And I think that all of it should be ditched. What do you think about that? You want to go to a restaurant where you have to order everything on a screen? Do you want to go to a store where you have to check everything out, bag your own, groceries, and you're paying more to do this? I mean, soon they'll want you to stock the shelves too before you shop. So you got to buy the bags. At least here in California, you got to buy the bags. You got to bag this stuff. You got to check out for yourself, which same thing at Lowe's and Home Depot. And again, soon they're going to want you to come in early, stock the shelves for them, maybe unload the trucks. You're doing more, you're spending more, you're getting less. Now they have you working for them. So let me know your thoughts on that. Here's one from The Hedge. Migrants gone wild on streets of Midtown Manhattan. I believe this was on Sunday. Vicious fight broke out. I believe it was a bunch of Venezuelans. They had whips, they had sticks, they're hitting one another. They're hitting cars. They're right in the middle of the street. This battle, this gladiator battle is taking place right in New York in the middle of the street. These maniacs are hitting one another. And the question is, I bring this up because what happens when the government at some point says, hey, no more hotels, no more food? If these people are this out of control right now, where they're getting free food, and free hotels and debit cards, what happens if this stuff gets cut off? What will these people do? That is my question. Please comment down below. If these people right now are this vicious and this out of control and they're getting all this free stuff, what happens if all this free stuff is taken away? What is going to happen? I would hate to find out. But this is the world we live in today, where they want another $5 trillion from you. We've got gladiator battles in the streets of New York. People are losing their jobs. It just goes on and on and on. And I don't really have the answer to much of this because, look, at the end of the day, we're not going to be able to stop this, but we as individuals have got to be preparing, because do you think this is getting any better? To me, it just seems every day it's getting worse and worse and worse. And they just try to sugarcoat it, by telling us that the average consumer, the household's strong, the economy is strong. Oh, people are spending money. But how are they spending money? When you have a 3.6% savings rate, people's retirements are wiped out, their savings accounts are wiped out. What are they using? Of course, they're using credit cards. And what's going to happen when the banks finally say, hey, we're cutting these credit lines in half, or we're just shutting them down because these people aren't paying? I mean, we've got people driving around in cars that haven't made a car payment in 4 or 5, 6 months because the banks don't even want to take these things back. I mean, we still have people who for years have not even made a mortgage payment because they're still in a moratorium. We don't even really, I don't think most of us really realize just how bad things are. And this can continue on for a while, and it's shocking that it's gone on this far, but at some point, we're going to hit a dead end. You can only kick the can for so far, for so long, and eventually you hit the dead end. And when we hit the dead end, I think this is going to be, this is going to be biblical. It will be a historic time in America. It will be a very dangerous, chaotic, scary time. And I would say most people are not prepared for this reckoning that is coming. But there's no way out of this now. There's no turning this ship around. We are so deep into this thing. There is so much debt. There's no way out. And so you now have got to prepare for the ship to sink. It is taking on water. It is going to sink without a doubt. And now I hope that everybody out there is building a lifeboat to survive and get to an island, because the ship has already taken on too much water and it's going down. Period. It's not if, it is now a matter of when. This data every day. It's unbelievable what is going on, and there are still people out there that just don't see it with their own two eyes, even though they're completely broke, massive amounts of debt, they're working a dead-end job, and they have no net worth whatsoever, and they believe everything is okay. This is how, when you watch the television and these same people tell you something day after day after day, 24 hours a day, people believe it. Some of the brokest people in this country believe everything is okay? How can you be completely broke and believe everything is okay? Because people just get brainwashed. And I'm so proud of so many people in the comments. Keep the comments coming. You're waking up people. I will say this, probably more people in the last year, 18 months have woken up than probably any other time in history. People are really, really waking up and preparing. The majority will not. That's how the sheep are, right? And that's why sheep get slaughtered. But if you break away from the pack, go against the grain, and think for yourself and be an independent thinker, be your own central bank, be your own security detail, get out of debt, you're going to have a whole different perspective. You will see right through this lie that is being placed upon us. So if there's anything I can do with these videos, it is at least have somebody think, question something, think for themselves. And I think if you do that, you're going to wake up and take some action. I'm going to leave it there today. Again, I want to thank everybody for the comments. Keep them coming. There is a ton of knowledge in the comments. You don't have to listen to me. I'm just somebody here in front of a camera thinking out loud. But please read the comments down below. Add a comment to it, because those comments have opened up so many eyes and so many minds and have made people really think and question things. And it's really saved a lot of people, physically and financially, even spiritually. So keep them coming. As always, I look forward to speaking to each and every one of you. God bless every one of you. Thanks for all the support, the prayers, the mail. I really appreciate it. I know it's hard to respond to everybody, but I want to thank everybody for all of the support. God bless every one of you.